My name's Curt Hermann. I am running I'm actually uncontested for District 3 on the Warsaw Community School Board. And I would guess, say new to Warsaw, that new being 12 years I've been here or so. I grew up around Fort Wayne, east side of Fort Wayne, went to Woodland High School, small school. How much time can we spend here? I went to Purdue undergrad, got a computer technology degree, and I then went to IU. I went to work for IBM for a little bit, went to IU to get an MBA. I took a job then right back here in Fort Wayne, and was transferred down to Atlanta, down to Miami, back up to Atlanta, down to Fort Lauderdale with Alamo and Monster.com and Writer Systems and so forth. My wife and I were living in Fort Lauderdale and had our first child, and decided it would probably be a good idea to get back up around family up here in the Midwest. So we looked for a couple of years to get an opportunity to come back up here, and did so. I worked at Biomet for about 4 years, and as a global brand manager with Zimmer for about 2 years. And all that time feeling like I wasn't where I was supposed to be. Never felt really all that comfortable in those corporate world things. You know, people say with an MBA trying to climb the corporate ladder, and really good jobs that I had, I should stay put. But I think the Lord led me out into starting a new business. So I started and run now Seasons Home Care. We have done in-home care for seniors and disabled folks all over Northeast and North Central Indiana. Right here in Warsaw, which we're in, is our main location. We run also an adult day center out of here. But we've in essence been serving, the 12 counties in Northeast, North Central Indiana for a long time. So I feel like I'm where I'm to be now, and I'll let you ask the questions.
Okay. Why did you decide to run for the school board?
Actually, I didn't really. It's not like a dream I've had. It didn't really wasn't in my thought process, if you will, until I was approached a number of months ago that this seat was coming open. I know Dan Robinson, and his seat was coming open, and they were looking for somebody who they felt would be a good fit for the school board. And after praying about a lot and thinking about a lot, I have 4 kids in the school system, 3 daughters that go to Madison and 1 at Edgewood. And we've been very involved with the school system from the get-go. I see what's happening. I have opinions. I try not to voice them too much. I realize how difficult it can be for the faculty and the administration to make certain changes. But there are a lot of things. I've had this business going on 6 years now. I've had a lot of different business experiences at an MBA, for what that's worth, and believe I have sound judgment, and I think the people who've asked me to do this agree with that. I'm a strong team player, so getting on the board for me is not a matter of getting on the board and being this power-hungry person who's going to make all these changes. Rather, it's being a member of the team, adding what I can with my business experience and education to make the best decisions we can to provide the best futures for our kids.
At the recent meeting, I believe you were there, where Covert Hawkins presented their vision for the facilities assessment and different changes in building programs, whatever, totaled $110.5 million. What do you think overall about that? What do you think are some good ideas? What are your issues with it? Just your overall thoughts about it?
Well, the $110 million, I nearly passed out when I heard that. Really, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great. I'm glad to see that the board has been looking into the future. I think we're crazy not to be planning ahead. Again, the $110 million seems to me to be ridiculous, but knowing as little as I do now, and admittedly I am new to the school system, I have a lot to learn. I think I will. I think a lot of areas where I can be a good team member on the board. But with regard to that expenditure, that seems like an awful lot to me. Of course, we'll be doing the things we need to do over a period of 10 more years. So I feel pretty confident that the board is going to be fiscally conservative and responsible. And the last thing we want to do is incur a bunch of debt, that, especially with the economy the way it is now. I think it would be crazy to do that. So we'll do what we need to do to make sure that students are comfortable in their classes and are in facilities where they can learn well. And I think it's a very interesting recommendation that was given, and we'll just have to look closely at it and work together as a board. And of course, talking with the community as well, which is obviously a huge part of the board, is to have their ear in the community, understand how we can best as a community move the school system forward.
In a recent presidential debate, they talked about math and science education, and Washington Elementary is now a STEM academy. Do you think? What are your thoughts about what Warsaw Schools is doing in the areas of math and science and the STEM academy? Or have you had a chance to check it out? Or
I haven't done a lot of checking into it. I can tell you, math and science, I think, is critical. I think it's very important. It's always been, quite honestly, two of my favorite areas to study all my educational career. I think it helps with critical thinking, which I think much of our society lacks today. Excuse me for saying that. I think they're very important. I think anything we can do in those areas as a priority is a really good idea for us to be looking there. And I don't have enough information at this point to be making much more detailed comments.
It's kind of the same idea. Career and vocational education.
Huge. I think that's an area also that I think many times is overlooked. I'm glad to see we are focusing in that area, and I think that so many people come out of school without a real good idea of the opportunities that are out there, and even in the process of getting to that point, understanding where their skills fit, where their interests lie. I think that's a huge aspect of the educational system that really has lacked over the years, and I'm glad to see we're beginning to look into it, and I'll be a big proponent of seeing that move ahead.
Okay, and those are the rest of my questions.
You gotta make up the rest of it.
No. Well, October is actually National Anti-Bullying Month. As far as you know, do the schools do enough against bullying? Is bullying a factor in Warsaw schools, or again, is that kind of an area that
bullying's a problem. It's a problem, I think, a lot larger than, I think bullying's a symptom of a much greater problem that we have in society. How much the schools are going to be able to prevent and avoid it, I don't think at the core we will. I do think absolutely there are places for us, as I understand is beginning to happen, to be able to step in, identify opportunities to nip situations that are taking place in the schools, if you will. I think programs to educate kids, but I think more so, I think the root of it is families. And the difficult thing is, in the lives we're all living now with so many different things going on, it's very difficult to focus on your families and on raising kids, I think, the way they should be raised. And I don't know, as a school board member, that I'll have a lot to do there, but I think it is important to have programs in place for the kids to recognize this as a problem, for kids to have a degree of compassion, to look at it, look at these situations of bullying as if, put yourself in those shoes. How would you feel if people are treating you the way you're seeing other people treat this individual? You may not be the bullier. It doesn't mean you don't have a place of responsibility in making sure the bullying doesn't happen. I think the more we avail programs like that and educate the kids in general, and I think some of the things that we do in the school system can go back to the families, and I think we can make a big difference there. I think that's very important. Yeah. Some people may say it's ridiculous. Bullying's a little thing that happens here and there. Shouldn't happen. It's always happened ever since we were kids. When I was a kid, there was bullying, but it takes on a whole new. It's a different perspective that it's looked at today. And I think the kids that are bullied don't have nearly the support system around them. I think it can be very, very much more harmful than it used to be. So I think it's important that we address it.
Kind of last question. Like you said, you're new to the school board, and a lot of people may not know you. You're unopposed. But is there anything or things you want people to know about you as you're definitely on the school board. So, what are you easy to get a hold of? What's just some things about you that you'd want parents maybe to know about the new school board member?
I think I'm easy to get a hold of. I'm happy to speak with whomever about whatever issues. Of course, I'm not going to be the one who makes the decisions on things. I'll be an ear for people. But of course, the things I hear, I'll take back to the board and we'll talk about it. And of course, with Dr. Hintz, the superintendent. But my intention is to be like a conduit, if you will, which I think we all should be. But to be a team member of the school board, and just be one more member of sound judgment, of fiscal responsibility. And my objective, if there is any going into this, is very simple, and it's to move our school system forward and provide the best opportunity that we can for all of our kids to be prepared for what this future holds for us. I could talk about the future, but that would be a whole different interview, I suppose. But we have some big concerns ahead of us as people in the country, let alone the state of Indiana and Warsaw. I think it's important to have a broad vision going forward of how we can assist in all those areas. I guess I didn't mention that I would consider myself a visionary. I'm not so much a details person, and the people who work with me, would assure you that that's true. I could throw some ideas out there, but as far as the minutia of it, not so much. But that's kind of who I am. I'm happy to speak with whoever might want to speak with me, if they're so willing to deal with me.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, David.